Ugandan police are denying that Bobi Wine was arrested and taken to an unknown location overnight. They say that's just not true. He's at home.
Mr. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, as far as I'm informed, he's not under arrest.
Some social media posts claim that an army helicopter had landed into his home and taken him to this unknown location. A lot of Ugandans have been telling me to report this. I'm literally on a flight, as you can see. But I just wanted to come on and address it real quick.
If we were to arrest him as security agencies or police in particular, we would make it known and the reasons for his arrest.
Our famous musician turned into politician is missing. Bobi Wine is missing in action. The report that is reaching my table is that Bobi Wine was under house arrest. But another report is that Bobi Wine was extracted, was picked, airlifted, with the military helicopter from his home. That means that he was abducted. But the IG of Uganda, or the police commission of Uganda, has come out and dismissed the allegation that Bobi Wine was abducted. But all signs, it is unconfirmed, it is unconfirmed reports that is circulating on social media, and the opposition leaders, they are sending these reports out on X and everywhere, claiming that Bobi Wine is missing. And if this has happened, then it's a discrimination to the democracy. And
it is terrible. If Uganda, anyone that needs to help Uganda, that's what I can say, must help Uganda now, before thousands and millions are gunned down by the ruling regime. The news coming out of Uganda this evening are very horrific. It is very terrifying that the blackout of internet, as if was not enough to the regime, abduction of the vice president of the National Unity Platform, Western Uganda, storming of the home of Vice President Central Region Uganda, they killed over 10 people in his home and he was taken away. The arrests of the National Platform leaders at different stages, they are terrible. If I talk about the polling agents, they are still missing from the day of the casting of the ballot up to today. We don't know whether they are alive or not. Now that one couldn't stop, this is what happened this evening. The Special Forces Command of the Army of Uganda had to storm the house of the leading opposition presidential candidate. That is His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. They had to trespass to his compound, killed 3 people who were found there, plus the security guard. That was not enough. They broke the first door, second door, and they broke until they got to his bedroom. They grabbed him and taken him away. We don't really know whether he's still alive or not. We don't know whether the people that have been abducted through the whole process, because I want you to remember that voting is a process, but the irregularities that we have encountered through these 2026 elections are horrific, terrible. Deployment, heavily, people are being unalived. Right now as we speak, we don't know how many have been killed by the security organs shooting live bullets in the dark because they switched off internet. When they got into the house, when they were about to go into the house of the leading presidential candidate, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the people's president, they had to cut off the electricity and cut the cable wiring of the CCTV footage or cameras. That is how they broke in when no one is watching. Remember, there's total blackout of internet. The information that we get right now, we just get it on phone calls that we call straight home. We don't really wish to lose more people. If there is anything that has to be done, it must be now, because you can see that the leading party or the ruling regime is forcing itself onto the people, which is unacceptable even on the world order that we have today.
I hope this, because Bobi Wine is not a threat to Museveni. That's the reality. Bobi Wine is not a threat to Museveni. The ones or the people who are a threat to Museveni, they are the youths of Uganda. Because Bobi Wine is just as simple. Bobi Wine is just a symbol representing the youths, representing the unemployed youths, representing the urban population. You know what I mean? And let me say this. In the West, Missing might mean a phone died. In Africa, when someone is missing, especially under long-serving regime, missing means something far darker. You know, for example, here in Kenya, when you say someone is missing, the next meeting is like, is nowhere to be seen anymore. Maybe you are looking him somewhere else. Because when the phones go silent, security tracks appears around your home, internet slows or disappear, family members stop speaking publicly, lawyers are denied access. That's the playbook. And Uganda have been in this movie. They know how this unfolds. You know? Being clear, I'll say Bobi Wine is not dangerous, as I said earlier, because he carries weapons. No. He is dangerous because he carries hope. The hope of Ugandans' youth. The hope of Ugandans' Ugandans' urban poor, and the hope of the dignity-aware generation. That's the news that is reaching us. And history shows us clearly authoritarian system do not fall because of election. They fall because legitimacy collapses. And Bobi Wine is a legitimacy problem. He exposes how long power have overstayed. He exposes how disconnected leadership is from youths. And he exposes how force has replaced consent. Now, when ballot fail to remove power, system resort to disappearance politics. Now, let me talk about timing. Every time Bobi Wine gains momentum, there is an arrest, there is a beating, there is a court case, there is a house arrest, there is an internet shutdown, military presence. You know, now ask yourself one just question. If nothing is wrong, why do they fear? If nothing is wrong, why do the government fear? If Bobi Wine is safe, say it. Where is Bobi Wine? We want to hear from him. If he is free, show it. Because the security forces of Uganda needs to take care of each and every everyone who was vying for presidency. You know, they need to ensure there is protection to them. Reports have been circulating that some around 10 people have been unalived around the home of Bobi Wine. These were agents and some, you know, security teams there. So to my African brothers and sisters across the continent, what happens in Uganda set a precedent. Okay? If this works, it will be copied. If this goes on in Uganda, how we are seeing things and then it wins, it will be copied, it will be justified, it will be normalized. You know? Today is Bobi Wine. Tomorrow is another young leader, 2027 in Kenya. The other day is another young leader in South Africa. The other day is another young leader in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Sudan. You know? The journalists, the students, then it is you who you are watching this video. So we need to condemn by all means about this. We are not saying that Bobi Wine must win. We are saying Bobi Wine must be given freedom because he is a citizen of Uganda. He has 22.7 votes up to now %. Okay? So he can control people. So that's not how it's supposed to be my M7. Let's not lie to ourselves. This is not just about Bobi Wine. It's about the generation that we are seeing in TikTok. It's about the generation that we are seeing in TikTok. It's about the generation we are seeing on X. It's about the generation we are seeing they are being political aware of what is happening in African country. And that's what African leaders, they fear the most. They fear the youths who are educated enough, okay? And that's why they give them education, they don't give them jobs to make them so oppressed. Because you cannot tell us to study, get the good grades, and then at the end of the day, we are dying with the hunger and everything, okay? A message to my Ugandan people, to people of Uganda, your silence will not protect you. Your fear will not save you. History does not remember those who waited, but hear me clearly. Resistance does not mean violence. It means documentation, unity, international pressure, collective voice, and strategic calm. So this is a test of African consciousness, and we need to look it closely. Tell me what you think. If you have any clue where Bobi Wine is, tell us in the comment section. Where is Bobi Wine?